Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream on Polkadot Socials. I'm super excited today to have back with us Pauline, who is the co-founder and CEO of Polkadot Blockchain Academy, and also Daniel, who is a core dev at Jamixir, but more importantly, a PBA alum. So he's going to share some insights into the program. He's going to tell us what he loved about PBA, and I'm sure maybe a couple of things that you thought could be improved. Maybe we can pick your brain on that as well. But it's great to have an alum here who can give us a firsthand experience. So the three things we're going to really cover today are an update on PBA-X, which is a new program Pauline's going to tell us all about. We're going to talk about PBA-Campus, which is happening in the Alps. It's a 2.5-week, very intense program for developers. And then we're going to get a little sneak peek, I think, on the new Jam module at PBA-Campus. So Pauline, let's come to you. PBA-X was an online education platform. The first cohort started on January 6th. Can you tell us a little bit about it and how it's going so far?
Sure. So indeed, last time we spoke about our new program, PBA-X, that was just about to start. Now we already have some students enrolled. We actually had to increase the cohort size to welcome over 500 students. We had to cap it at some point, and unfortunately, we couldn't offer seats for everyone. So we'll open a new cohort hopefully soon. But we have over 500 students in this online cohort. They're going through the introductions and fundamentals of blockchain, Web3 principle, and discovering Polkadot. They passed the half mark of the program. They're in there, they are on their way to graduations. What's so exciting about it, I think, is that we have 2/3 of the students self-identify as developers, and we have 1/3 that are not developers, that are blockchain enthusiasts. It's harder for them, obviously. This is not the traditional audience and target learner for the Polkadot Blockchain Academy, but it's so exciting to see actually those without a developer background or not fully employed as developer to come and learn about principle of Web3, cryptography, economics, what is tokenization, what can we do with blockchain technology, and so on. So super exciting new type of interaction, new type of learners for this first online cohort.
Wow, so 500 students from presumably around the world,
correct,
as I understand it. 2/3 are identifying as developers, 1/3 are not developers. So that means that you don't need any sort of programming or computer science background to do PBA-X. Is that right? You can just have an interest in blockchain or in Web3 and you can enroll in this online program.
Correct. I'm not saying it's easy for the non-developers. There's still a lot of technical concepts. That's also something we hear generally about blockchain. It's not always easy to get in. So that's why we call the non-developers the blockchain enthusiasts. We are aware that it might be harder for them to graduate, but yes, there is no coding assignment, there is no coding requirement to follow the course, just some big interest in blockchain and maybe some general knowledge before getting into it.
Got it. And are because it's an online program done through videos, do you watch the videos at your own pace, at your own time, or do you sort of all log in, all 500 students are sort of watching the same video at the same time? Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, totally. That's a great question. It's actually tricky because we're having to design a learning experience that is for cohort-based students. So students are joining at the same time and graduating at the same time. But at the same time, as you rightly said before, we have students from all over the world. We actually have, last time we checked, 69 countries represented in the course. So quite a broad geographic coverage and obviously a difference in time zones. So we do have the ability for the students to watch the content at their own time, but we also have some live lectures that are obviously given at a specific time, but recorded so that students can catch up afterwards.
Nice.
So it's kind of a blended mix.
And how has the feedback and reception been for PBA-X so far? I know you're only halfway through, but how do the students like it? Do they like this online video-based learning?
Yeah, it's early to say if we met our objectives or if all to share graduation rates or data like this. But feedback we got early on was, whoa, this is hard. This is harder than I expected. Content is of high quality. I didn't think an online course could go that deep. This is the type of feedback we hear. Although we would want all our students, our learners to graduate and to pass the content, it's actually something we really appreciate when the students tell us it's hard. I have to invest in it. I have to look up some things on the side to follow the lectures. Like the intent was, yes, we're using an easier and more accessible medium through an online platform, but the quality of the content is not lowered. It's still very high academic standard. It's still a PBA product. So feedback so far is that it is intended for global reach and for broad use, but it's still a pretty big commitment, an intellectual commitment to follow the program.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it can't be too easy, because then if it's not challenging, people has to find that right spot, right, where it's just challenging enough to keep people interested without demotivating them. And so, what are some things that students walk away equipped with after PBAX? What will they have learned by the end of the program?
Yes. So PBAX is giving the student a very broad, but we hope complete introduction to Web3, to the principle of Web3, as well as some knowledge that we consider the fundamental to be successful afterwards on PBA-Campus. So all the introduction and most of the introduction modules on cryptography, economic principle, some introduction to governance and to Polkadot at large, which should be a very solid first intro for a first-time learner, and a strong discovery both of blockchain technology and Polkadot, but also a very good fundamental for those who decide to go further and qualify for the entrance exam for the PBA-Campus afterwards.
Got it. So if you complete the PBAX program, you have a much easier transition into PBA-Campus. Before we go into PBA-Campus, for those that are, first-time watchers or the first time hearing about the Polkadot Blockchain Academy, maybe we can just kind of take a few steps back and just what is the mission of PBA? When was it founded? How was it funded? What do you hope students get out of it?
Sure. So the PBA has the mission to educate for a more truthful world. That's a big vision. We intend to produce highly trained and highly qualified talent in Web3, with obviously a focus on the Polkadot community and the Polkadot ecosystem. We do so by offering a broad range of educational products. We started close to 3 years ago now with an in-person program, a 5-week intensive, a bit crazy in-person program, taking a very selected, a small cohort of selected students through 5 weeks of learnings, all the way from what is blockchain, what can we do, what is governance, what constitutes a decentralized blockchain versus not decentralized, all the way down to being job ready. Nice. To start contributing to the Polkadot ecosystem. This product was the vision of Dr. Gavin Wood, co-founder of Polkadot, and really with the intention of let's bring more talent to the Polkadot community through education. Let's identify the top developers and the top builders and bring them into our ecosystem and equip them with the knowledge and tools that they need to be successful in the Polkadot ecosystem. And we're proud to having over 400 graduates now. Wow. Some of them are successfully contributing to the ecosystem, like Daniel on the call with us today. And as of now, we are the biggest producer of talent for the Polkadot community.
That's incredible. So you're doing very important work, not only for the Polkadot ecosystem, but for the wider Web3 industry, the blockchain industry. Daniel, I want to come to you next. I'm just curious, how did you hear about PBA the first time, and what sort of piqued your interest to motivate you to enroll in the program?
Yeah, so I was working by accident. Actually, I started in Web3 because I was working in a fintech and I wanted to implement some blockchain technologies in that fintech in Brazil 4 years ago. And I started to study blockchain and I couldn't find too much online, especially in Portuguese. And then I left the company because they didn't want anything related with blockchain, and I wanted to work with blockchain. So I left the company, and because I didn't know anything about blockchain, I was in a limbo because I wanted to work with blockchain. I didn't have the knowledge, and I also didn't want to work with anything else. So I
Right.
left the company, and I founded a community in Brazil called Web3 Dev. And this community, my aim was to learn about blockchain. And I spent 1 year building educational content for developers in Portuguese. We created website and a lot of stuff. And I was always looking for new opportunities to learn and to bring this knowledge to our community. And the community grew too much. And the way I came to know PBA was exactly because I was looking for something related to Polkadot, and I
Okay.
was always like looking to different sources of knowledge, and then the PBA seemed to me like a perfect match of what I wanted to learn at that moment, and I just subscribed to the PBA-Campus. In that time,
Okay.
it didn't have the PBA-X. It was a little bit before PBA-X. January last year is almost 1 year, and my initial idea was just to go there, learn, and I also had a project as I was starting to build a product, so I wanted to get feedback about the product that I was building. So I subscribed in Polkadot Blockchain Academy in the founders track. This is something that doesn't
Oh,
have anymore, but back then they created these two tracks, one for founders and one for developers. And even if I am a developer, I wanted to work on that product as a founder, so I subscribed to the founders track. But something really unexpected happened when I was there, because the
but Dan,
first
before
last
I'm going to cut you, before we go into your experience there, I just wanted to hear more about your initial onboarding and how you. So where was your cohort? You said it was 1 year ago. Was that Singapore
yeah,
or
it
Hong
was in
Kong?
Hong Kong. It was in
Hong
Hong
Kong. Okay.
Kong.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I
you applied for PBA in Hong Kong. Did you take an sort of like an entrance exam or anything or?
Yeah, I didn't. It didn't have a the exam because I was in the founders track, which
Okay.
doesn't exist anymore. But there was the for developers there was
Right.
this Rust exam that I didn't take because I was in the founders track, and it wasn't allowed. It wasn't needed for founders to know. Even if I could pass the Rust exam, I didn't take it. But I got an interview with Tim. I
Nice.
think he's part of the team that selects the students,
Okay.
and it was amazing conversation. We had a lot in common. I loved the conversation, and I got accepted, and then I went through. So it was really for me, it was wonderful
Yeah.
to have the opportunity to go there. And then
Right.
when I was there, a lot of things happened. I can
Okay.
get there more.
So so you hear about PBA happening in Hong Kong. You sign up on the founders track, which didn't require any sort of entrance exam. However, the other tracks do require, little tests to make sure you're up to speed. You fly to Hong Kong. You meet students from around the world. That must have been pretty exciting and a really good networking opportunity as well.
Yeah, and this was one of the things that I wanted. We were exploring ways to expand our community to be more global, because we started in Brazil, but we wanted to help other developers anywhere to learn about Web3 technologies. And this was an amazing opportunity. But when I arrived there, and this is what changed along the way, the first lessons were too deep into the tech. It was a lot technical, a lot more technical than I expected, and I loved it because in essence, I am a developer for more than 30 years, and I wanted to learn these deep things that I didn't learn before.
Right.
So I started to get more and more involved into the technical lessons and the dev tracks more than the founders track.
Okay.
So in the middle of the path, I decided that I wanted to do the developers track, and I was already doing the founders track. So in the end, I ended both tracks at the same time. So I had to do a lot of work during the campus, but it completely changed my life, because I decided after this moment, I decided that I didn't want it to be a founder. I wanted to be a developer. So I quit the company that I was working, and then I started to come into Polkadot and build Jam and all the things that happened after that.
Nice. And so, okay, so you're in Hong Kong, you're starting on the founders track, but for some reason you're drawn more to the developers track, and you have this moment where you say, you know what, I actually want to be a builder, not a founder, even though they're pretty similar things, I'd say. But what was it what did you see at PBA, or what did you hear? What did you learn that really drove you to be a developer instead?
I think what I believe is the main reason was the amount of great people that I've met there. So many developers as students, which were great people, and all at once in the same place. It was like game changing too. I said to myself, I want to work with these people. I want to be close to these people. I want to work with them. I want to do something with them, and not only the students, but also the teachers, the people that were like giving the lectures. I want to learn more from this person. I want to learn more from this other person. So because PBA is not taught by like academic professor, but industry practitioners, you learn much more, because it's not just, there's a lot of theory, of course, but there's a lot of practical stuff and a good mix of it. So I wanted to stay closer
important
to these people.
Right. So so you just feel this energy from these. I mean, they are world-class instructors and educators at this program. I mean, these are the people that are, have built Ethereum, have built Polkadot. I mean, you're really learning from the best. And you said you just found this energy there that just sounds like it was a life-changing or life-altering event, was attending PBA. You sort of had this realization about a new career path and the way you wanted to move forward. So that's very insightful. When how many hours a day would you say you were studying, or what did your typical day look like? So you woke up, you had breakfast with the other students, then what?
Yeah, because I chose to do both tracks, it was like 10 hours, 12 hours per day studying, basically the whole day. You wake up, you have breakfast very quick, and then you go to the classrooms, and then there are classes the whole day, like 8 hours of classes during the day. And between one class and the other, you are like working on assignments, because for the developers tracks, there are a lot of exercises that you need to accomplish during the course. So you have to work even when there's no. So when there are classes, you are watching classes and learning, and when there are no classes, you are building, you are prototyping, you are practically learning or applying the things that you learn during the classes. So it's a good mix of theory and practice, and you don't have too much time to finish the assignments, because you have 8 hours of classes, and then you have to go dinner and then sleep, and then the other day classes again. So for during these 5 weeks that I stayed in Hong Kong, it was like almost 24 hours, like thinking.
Wow.
It's very intense. It's very, very intense.
That's incredible. I mean, I hope you had a few hours a week at least to enjoy the great city that Hong Kong is, and had some free weekends.
Sundays, one
Sundays,
day per
okay,
week.
got it.
Sundays were
one
free
day of
time,
rest.
but yeah, usually Sundays half day we went to enjoy some stuff, and then the other half we were finishing the assignment that we need to deliver by the end of Sunday. So not that much, but yeah, we could enjoy a little bit.
And that's also one of the bonuses of PBA, is that you're not only getting this world-class education, but you're immersed in a new city for 5 weeks. I mean, that's like on many people's bucket list. So that's checking two things off at once. That's pretty great. Pauline, let's come back now to you and tell us about the new PBA campus that's kicking off in just a couple of weeks now. How is it different? How is it the same from previous cohorts? Where is it? Tell us a bit about it.
Sure. So we're still accepting enrollment in the applications for the upcoming cohort. So we're still in the student selection phase. It's going to take place in March in the Alps, in the Swiss Alps, in Lucerne, in collaboration with the University of Lucerne and with their upcoming blockchain research hub. We are keeping the intensity, but changing a little bit the format. So what Daniel described, although he was absolutely, he had an even more intense experience as he was following 2 tracks at the same time. But what he described in a sense is going to stay true. Students are going to be welcome in an amazing location, the Swiss Alps. They're going to have this incredible cohort experience, find their networks, find their future friends, their future colleagues, their inspiration. They're going to be physically very close to the faculty, to the actual builders of Polkadot, the Web3 Foundation researchers and the developers and builders who are actually making Polkadot this incredible protocol and community. So they're going to have this proximity and they're going to basically learn from the best. But they're going to also keep that intensity, those 8 to 10 hours of active learning, lectures or practicing a day. Not to forget, they're also going to have some social events. PBA students and faculty do love their trivia night, their dancing, their karaoke, and so on. There is also a good mix of fun social events on campus and in the city. But this time what we're introducing is a shorter duration. Because we have now PBA-X taking away some of the fundamentals and some of the lectures and bringing them online in a more accessible way, in a part-time and online delivery, we can now reduce and make the advanced learning during PBA-Campus more compact. So the duration is moving from 5 weeks to 2.5 weeks. This is obviously with the intent that students have either done PBA-X before or they already have the learning or are doing self-learning that are enough to pass the entrance exam, and then they come for 2.5 of crazy intensive but also crazy fun learning of the advanced part of the curriculum and then graduate PBA-Campus.
Got it.
The other change that we're doing is that so Daniel was mentioning in Hong Kong we had a developer track and a founders track. This time the founders among the developers or among the builder developers are going to be invited for a pitching event, but we're not doing anymore an actual track. What we are focusing on this time around is an after feedback of the needs from the community. We are launching a new track around dApps. So for the dApps, the aspiring dApps developer on Polkadot, and still keeping our core protocol on-chain protocol track. So those are 2 tracks for aspiring blockchain developers on Polkadot.
Got it. Okay, so the course that was previously 5 weeks is being condensed down to 2.5 weeks, which makes it more, I think, manageable. And for people that have maybe families or can't spare 5 weeks, it makes it much more easier to participate because PBA-X is sort of taking the PBA-X is taking the introductory part of it. You're removing the founders track, but you're adding the dApps track for aspiring builders of dApps, which I think is a great idea. And you mentioned that it's happening in Lucerne. I actually wanted to pull up the website here because the campus is just so beautiful. Let's see here. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. So, I mean, this is this is where you'll be studying. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's tell us about Switzerland. I mean, tell us just about this area and what can you do there? How
Yeah.
accessible is it? Do you fly into Zurich or tell us about the area.
We're trying to give our students also the opportunity to go to incredible locations. For reminder, we're grateful that the PBA-Campus is offered to the students once they're selected. They don't have to pay for room and board. They don't have to pay for the lecture. They are funded through OpenGov. They only have to pay for their traveling to this incredible location. Lucerne and the Swiss Alps is absolutely fantastic. You fly to Zurich, you're in close proximity to Lucerne and to Zurich as the next city, but you're really enjoying the proximity with nature. It's a very different vibe from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from Buenos Aires, Berkeley, and our other locations. This one is extremely exciting because we're going back to Europe. It had been close to 3 years we were not in Europe, and Europe is definitely a hotbed of talent for our developers in our community. But we're not only taking our new cohort in Europe, we're taking them to an amazing location where they will have both the experience of the Crypto Valley. For those who don't know, Zug and the Zug Canton has been nicknamed the Crypto Valley. So the proximity with the Web3 Foundation and other foundations and a lot of projects, incredible projects actually, that they will have the physical proximity and interaction with on campus, but also just a fantastic location to be learning.
And I think I heard you mention it. You said it very quickly, but tuition is free. Is that right?
I know, that's crazy. And that's why we make such a hard selection for our students, because once they're selected for campus, for the PBA-Campus, their room and board is sponsored. They don't have to pay to learn from Dr. Gavin Wood himself. They don't have to pay to come to the classroom and learn from the top builders, to learn about what's upcoming, to even have a sneak preview into the JAM module and what's coming up on Polkadot. And they're provided with half board, breakfast and lunch.
Wow. While I have that's just amazing. You get all of that stuff. You have free tuition. You get a world-class education for free in Switzerland. Just incredible. Tell the viewers how they can apply. I have some information up here on the screen. Tell us about the application dates and what they should do today if they are interested. What should they do right after watching this live stream if they want to participate?
So they should not wait, because our applications are closing now they're closing at the end of the month. So they're closing in a few days, in 6 days. So they should start their application ASAP. They should be ready also, as there is coding assignments, especially check. They should, first of all, they should go to the website that you're actually showing now. They should go to the Polkadot Blockchain Academy website, read the FAQs about the applications, read the advice that they have, check that they do have the coding requirements that are asked, and then they should just click the Apply Now button and start their application forms. Then they should be ready for the coding assignment and just make sure that they budget the time to successfully answer the requirement, and then hopefully they will do well in the coding assignment and be invited for an online interview before showing up on campus in a few weeks.
Amazing. So, okay, so a free tuition in Switzerland. You just go to the website is Polkadot.Academy, and you have 6 days, just 6 days of filled application. So don't wait, don't leave it to the last second, go to the website. A good question came in from one of the viewers. They said, what can I do, or what do some of the students find themselves doing after they graduate? That was from Luke Mahoney. I mean, we have Daniel here, who is a graduate. I think there's probably no better person to answer that question. So Daniel, what did you do, and what do some of the other students that you know go on to do after they finish PBA?
Yeah, I see a lot of people engaged with Polkadot after graduating, including, of course, myself, and in different fronts. So there are some developers that are immediately hired by Polkadot ecosystem companies or chains. So there's a lot of things happening on Polkadot. So basically, If you are just looking for a job, you're gonna get it. It's almost 100% chance. If you graduate on PBA, I'm very confident that it's possible that someone will want to hire you if the conditions match.
Right.
So this is one thing. So there's a lot of graduates working for different Polkadot companies. Some others decided to start their own projects. So we see, I don't have numbers. Maybe Pauline have better numbers than myself, but I see a lot of PBA from our cohort starting their own thing, creating libraries, creating companies, startups, or side projects, or so different things on both the more low level things like blockchain and jam and things that are more related with the core infrastructure, but also dApps and applications running on top of Polkadot. Even if in our class, in our cohort, we didn't have too much of dApps. So I assume that after PBA, they had to learn much more about Polkadot and continue to learning. And but I myself feel that was a great requirement that they are feeling right now. This gap of not having a practical journey that you can learn how to build an app that runs and work for the end users, because the course was more suitable for lower level infrastructure, and now it's more broad and you can build something for end users.
Got it. So if there's a viewer out there who finds himself thinking about a career change, or maybe you're looking for a new job, I mean, you can apply to PBA, get a world-class education in 2.5 weeks. And I mean, there are no promises or guarantees, but it's very likely you'll find yourself a job in the Polkadot ecosystem. Or if you have an idea for a dApp that you want to develop, this is a great place to kind of finesse all of your skills and leave with the ability to create that dApp. Pauline, there's a couple of questions that came through that I thought we could just do a rapid fire before we go on to the new Jam module. But Frankie Campbell asked, can it be remote? Which I believe the answer is no, but PBA-X, yeah.
Correct. If you cannot attend a PBA campus, we would recommend you look at PBA-X, which is the fully remote online program. At the moment, we are requiring a full-time in-person presence to the PBA campus.
Got it. Thank you. And another question asks, how many stages of interviews are there for the application?
So the interview has several stages. You have, I'm just going to share them. Sorry, I'm going to summarize in two. You have the technical interview that is test-based, and then you have the in-person interview with a recruiter afterwards to give you the opportunity to ask questions and also for us to get a sense if this program is the right fit for you.
Got it. Great. Thank you for answering those. And I'm just going to pull up some information here about Jam. So I think that you wanted to announce that there is a new Jam component to PBA. As you know, Jam is the possible replacement to the Polkadot relay chain that Dr. Gavin Wood himself is sort of spearheading at the moment. There's the world's, or the, sorry, how do I phrase this? The world's largest technical prize ever is up for grabs. It's the Jam Implementers Prize. Tell us a bit more, Pauline.
Yes, and afterwards, I think Daniel can give us also his personal experience with this, as he's contributing to the Jam Prize and building Jam. So that's something we're really excited. Is one of our alumni. We have a few PBA alumni working on the Jam Prize. Yes, so we are, PBA is always trying to keep our content up to date and working with the with the Polkadot builders to make sure that what we teach our students is immediately useful for them and really giving them today's required skill. As you said, Jam is now being built with the idea to complement Polkadot, and so we had to incorporate Jam also in the curriculum of the PBA. It's I would say interesting, crazy, or exciting and crazy at the same
Yes.
time, which would qualify a lot of the things we do,
Right.
to be building a module on Jam while Jam is being built.
Right.
So it's this module is going to come at the end of the PBA-Campus time and session, with as part of a module around the future of Polkadot, with a very strong lecture, a fundamental lecture around Jam, echoing obviously the Jam tour that Gavin is doing in Asia, but also with a very clear focus for our developer students around what is happening currently in the Jam prize, how can they contribute, what are the implementers doing, building Jam, what's the timeline for Jam, and obviously a presentation around what is the upcoming evolution towards Jam. So it's not yet going to be a module around how do you develop on Jam, as it's not available, but it's going to be a very much in-depth view and really a developer view around the potential of Jam.
Got it. Daniel, was there anything that you wanted to add to that? I mean, you are now core dev at Jamixeer. Probably sounds like there's some relevance there. Do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So for me, Jam is the combination of everything you can know about the blockchain space. So if you take, because by implementing Jam, one can learn everything. So basically, if you just want to be a developer that writes some lines of code and create some feature here and there, you don't need to learn Jam. But if you are curious and you want to really understand how Web3 works, what are the values of Web3, what are the core technologies that back all the ideals of Web3, Jam is the perfect project, because it goes deep into the cryptography and data sharing among different networking, storage. So you go through all the concepts of computer science, from low-level machine code to implementing a service that end users can use. So in the end, by building Jam, you understand everything. And for me, I like to not just build systems, but understand what is behind, what's happening, why this is, why there is this, why there is that. So for me, and for those who are curious and want to understand the full stack, Jam is perfect, and it's really interesting. It's a knowledge that once you have, you start to understand much more about the Web3 world than just like learning how to write a simple JavaScript app here and there.
Tell us a bit about the Jam Prize. It's a 10 million dot prize up for grabs, which is roughly 60, 65 million, 70 million dollars today, US dollars, up for grabs for those that can implement Jam. So for a start, what does it mean to implement Jam?
Okay.
Tell us about your journey.
So the Jam Prize, when the Jam Prize came out, for me, it was like obvious decision to go for it. And but I didn't go for it for the prize. I think the prize is just something that I'm gonna get as a byproduct of something even more valuable than the prize, which is the knowledge and the level of connection that I'm having with all those great people that I've met in PBA. Now, 1 year ago, I didn't know anything about Polkadot. And today I'm working side by side with Gavin Wood, the creator of all these things that everybody uses today. So it's amazing how it is to work with these people and learn so much. So the learning journey for me is much more important than the prize. But of course, the prize is huge, and the prize will make me much more powerful when Jam is running to get the prize and invest on projects or to help projects to succeed on top of Jam. So it's very obvious that I don't need all this money to like for my personal consumption. I think this money, when it comes, it will be much more valuable to reinvest on projects that I want to see thriving and making Web3 a reality. And how it works, you just build. There are 5 milestones that are described in the Gem Prize website. There's a website that explains all the rules, and you have to submit your code when the time comes. We are waiting for the final version of the gray paper. So this is another thing that is so magical. Gavin Wood specified Gem in a way that is formally specified. So there's a document, a blueprint, that if you follow this blueprint, you're gonna get Gem on the other side. So you read this blueprint. It's like 80 pages of definitions and mathematical formulas, which at the beginning it's very, very complicated. But
yes.
when you get into and you start to read it and you start to code, and I say for myself, I didn't know anything about anything of Gem when I started to read the gray paper. It was really, really, really hard to understand. But I didn't understand 100%. I understand like 5%. And I took that 5% and say, okay, let me try to write some code for this 5% that I understood. And as I move on, I started to understand the other part. So it's a practical learning experience. And because it is formally specified, you know the truth. The truth is there. It's a mathematical formula, and everybody, there are 35 teams implementing Gem today. I'm just one of these 35 in 15 different programming languages. This is another very powerful thing. We are not restricted to a single programming language like C or Rust, because the programming language itself is a community. So there is this Rust community, the C community, and the Java community. When you give a prize to different languages implementation, you get a very resilient product, because no other chain, not even close, you have more than the most, let's say, the chains that have more than one implementations are just a few. And those who have more than 3 is completely non-existent. And we have 35 in Gem. And all these nodes, all these implementations talking to each other in different programming languages, but yet the same protocol, the same specification is very, very robust in terms of like longevity.
Yes, and resilience.
A lot of resilience.
The gray paper is definitely very daunting for people that are not technical, or even if you are technical. But I mean, I think what's pretty incredible about this whole thing is that, 1 year ago, you decided to sign up for PBA. You went to Hong Kong. You had this sort of life-changing moment where you decided you wanted to be more of a developer than a founder. You networked with other students there. You came out at the end, decided to go for a 70 million US dollar Gem implementation prize. And now you're working together with PBA colleagues or alumni, working towards this goal to implement basically one of the most innovative ideas ever, really. I mean, it's pretty incredible what you guys are working on, all in the span of a year. So I mean, that journey is, I think it sort of speaks to the power of PBA. And so I would encourage anyone that's listening that would like to get educated, maybe just change up the things that they're working on in their life. I'm going to put up the website here again for those for PBA. Yeah, for those that maybe want to just try something new, get educated, take a shot at the Gem Prize. Maybe you are a superstar developer already, but you just want to do some networking and maybe find some co-founders for a project or a DApp that you have. It's, again, just 2.5 weeks, very intense, as Pauline has mentioned, but very doable. I mean, you could call in sick from your job and do this, if you didn't even have to leave your current job. You could take a little sabbatical and do it. Pauline, Daniel, is there a closing thought that you had there?
Yeah, I just wanted to share with the audience something that maybe can help to get to PBA, because after coming out of PBA, I already spoke with Pauline and the team, and as an educator myself, I always try to find opportunities for improvement. And one thing we realized about PBA is that for some people, it's really, really hard to pass the exam and to be accepted into PBA because they don't have the basic skills of Rust development. And we found that there was a gap between like the developers that are already developers but don't know too much about Rust. So if you are already a Rust developer, it will be like easy for you to pass the exam. But if you are not a Rust developer, you fall into this limbo of I don't know Rust. I need to learn a lot of Rust to pass the exam, and it's not that easy. So we decided to create a course like this middle step between knowing nothing about Rust and know enough to apply to the PBA. And we launched this course. We asked for treasury funding for this course, and we already successfully trained more than 200 students.
Wow.
Before PBA, and now we don't even know who of them are applying to PBA, but there are a lot of people that are taking our courses in the Web3 Dev community and learning the basics of Rust. And our course is based on a content that was created by Sean, which is one of our instructors in the PBA. So we took his content that was just a GitHub repo, and we transformed into a website where you can go through lessons and submit your assignments and go through it.
How do people find this course?
Yeah, I can share here briefly.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead and share it in the chat there, or drop it in the private chat, and I'll put the link up. So there's a little stepping stone, if you will, for those that maybe have some developing background but aren't familiar with Rust. Did you share it?
Yeah. Where is the chat? Oh, here. Let me share. I can share my screen because I need to restart my browser to make it. But I shared the link here with you.
Okay, great. Well, while I pull up that link, I'm gonna give the floor to Pauline to close us out, and just remind all of our viewers how they can apply and of the deadlines for application.
Yes. So I would also I want also to address a few questions in the chat as the wrapping. If you're currently in PBA-X, we know the timeline is absolutely crazy as you're working on your final projects and trying to graduate, while you have also to focus on the entrance exam. So we know it doesn't give you a lot of time. We would still recommend that if you have the opportunity, do try to submit your PBA-X assignments on time and start your application for the campus. We know many students, so that's the first thing, as we don't want to discourage PBA-X students, even if there is not a lot of breathing room, or absolutely no breathing room between the two. Hopefully you have time to take a breath and recover before coming on campus after. The other quick cert is an encouragement to not stop just after once. We've had students who have been extremely successful, although they joined not at their first attempt, but second attempt. They continued learning in the meantime. We do produce a lot of educational material. Daniel shared his great Rust course to get to the coding level. We have our content is open source, so you can already engage with some of the content, even if you are not selected, unfortunately, although we have the honor to be backed by the community and to be funded and supported by OpenGov for our graduates. Our number of places is physically limited by the space of the location, so we can't take everyone we would like to. So don't be discouraged if you're not taken this time. It's a small cohort. We're talking about a bit less than 100 people with the 2 tracks. Do apply for the tracks that makes the most sense for you in terms of preference, but don't hesitate to share with the interviewer, if you pass the coding exam, that you're open to any of the options to increase your chances, unless obviously you're set on one. That's also a very valid option. So just share about the career plan with our recruiters after you pass the first technical assignment. And again, please don't wait. Don't wait for the last minute. The exam is robust, so start already being in the system. Fill up the form on the Polkadot Academy website. Start the process. Don't wait for the end of the month for the closing deadline for the application. It's much harder afterwards. Hoping you can join us this time around in Lucerne in the Swiss Alps for this very special PBA campus with a shorter and a more intense maybe time frame of 2.5 weeks, and for the first time with a jam module as well, to get hopefully to follow the steps of Daniel and being able afterwards to build jam or use jam in the future.
Great. Well, thank you so much to both you, Pauline, and Daniel for joining us to walk us through the program, and Daniel for sharing your experience in Hong Kong and beyond. Everyone go to Polkadot.academy, click on PBA-Campus application form. It'll take you just a few minutes to fill out and could potentially change your life, as you heard from Daniel, who's now working towards implementing JAM. The application closes in 6 days. Don't wait, don't procrastinate. Go right now to Polkadot.academy. And where can we follow you on Twitter, Pauline, for Polkadot? At Academy Polkadot. I know what it is by heart now.
Exactly.
So go to Twitter, or you can go to Polkadot's Twitter, x.com/Polkadot. And we recently tweeted about PBA. You can give them a follow so you never miss an update. There will be future cohorts, of course, if you can't make it to the Alps. So give them a follow and never miss any of their announcements. If you want to follow Daniel to stay up to date with what he's doing with the JAM implementation, that's at Danny Kuki. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, your last name, Daniel.
Yes.
That's DANICUKI. You can also follow his team at JAMIXIR, Jamixir. Thank you to you both, and hope to have you back on again soon.
Sweet. Thanks a
lot.
lot.
Everyone.
Thanks.